a conversation, because then I followed up, and he said, then clean it up. Okay, so I'm cleaning it up.
Anybody who says they know, they don't know. Nobody knows nothing about nothing. Got me? That's what Tom wants out there. He did apparently launch a TV production or movie production company called 199 Production. Do we have any idea what 199 means? Maybe it'll all kind of come together. That's his draft spot? No, 199. He was drafted 199. That makes sense. Thank you. That makes sense. He didn't do 6 rings, or 6+1. He didn't drop any wink, wink, nod, nod hints over where he's going. This is what I had heard as well, which is the more noise you hear, the more it shows that people don't actually know anything. Now, Joy, you offered up that if no one knows, that means even Brady doesn't know.
If we're taking this as absolute truth, that was the text conversation, and we don't think that Brady is lying to Charlie Weis, and Charlie Weis is not exaggerating to us, then yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Brady doesn't know. That's the only way that truly no one else could know, because if Brady doesn't know himself, then he's not told anybody anything, because there's nothing to tell.
But I think there's a little gray area there. Like, no one could actually know, and he could know, or he could be really close to it. Just anybody who's saying they know something, aren't the ones talking.
What I'm saying is he hasn't made a decision yet. Obviously, he's probably had conversations with people over the years, or even in the past couple months, or maybe even in the past couple weeks, that might allude to one way or the other. But if he hasn't made a decision yet himself, then how could anyone else know what he's going to do?
Have you ever left a company or left a relationship? Like, we leave relationships and leave company. Companies, I think, are closer to this than relationships, but there are relationships within the company.
Right.
I will tell you this, like, I've left 2 media companies. One was more difficult to leave than the other. One I had been with a lot longer than the other. I don't think it's not easy.
No, and I don't want to exaggerate, our decisions to the level of implications that Tom Brady's decision is going to have and is having on the NFL right now, because everyone is frozen until he makes a decision. But yes, you talk to your family, you talk to your agents, you talk to close friends. Sometimes you might even talk to friends that are within the company about what you should do. But yeah, once you make a decision, you let people know afterwards. Like, there was no, when I moved to California, until everything was settled, there was nothing to tell. So nobody really knew what was going on.
My process was different, though. At least the first time, I talked to a lot of people. I asked their advice. I searched out people in this industry that I really respect and said, like, hey, here's the 2 options or so.
Yeah, I did too.
Which is the better option? So I think those people did know where I was in the decision making, or that I was in the fact finding sort of a mode, if you will.
Right, and Brady probably has done the same thing or something similar to it on probably a more discreet scale. But again, if he hasn't decided, then all those people know is that there's conversations being had. But we already all know that, because we're having this conversation right now. He has not said he's coming back to New England. He has not said he's leaving, but we know that he is looking into everything. He said it himself. So it's not like we're making it up that he is researching other teams and talking to people. We know that. I think what Brady is just saying is, I haven't made a decision yet. So if you're hearing from someone like, oh, I know he's totally going to the Raiders, they don't know because Brady hasn't made a decision yet.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it sticks in my head an expression that I have used to describe my own process and circumstance, and I think it works in sports as well, which is, everybody wants change. Change is great. Transition is really difficult. And, it's not like he's transitioned. Like LeBron, though this is his last couple of years in the NBA, it was a 4-year contract, and I think anyone reasonable didn't think last year was the year they were going to win a championship.
Right.
You're Tom Brady, and however many years he thinks he has left, he said 45. That seems possible now. That's 2 years away, but that would be allowing us to believe that this year wouldn't be a championship year, because that transition is hard. And a guy who's that calculating, a guy who's that smart, a guy who understands the sport, understands the history of sport, I just find it hard to believe that because there's not a friendly locker room outside maybe of Tennessee, but even Tennessee in terms of an offensive coordinator that can put in what he wants to put in and already has that verbiage in place. I don't see it happening because transition is so hard.
Well, it's probably a very tough position for Brady to be in because there's so many factors other than just that transition. Like if he wants to prove that he can win a championship without Brady and outside of the Patriots organization, then it's not just a matter of going somewhere where you're the most comfortable. But like you said, there's a transition period. Brady is probably one of the most intense and precision-based quarterbacks maybe ever.
Yes.
That's why he has so many struggles with young players, because he wants everything to be perfect. And when you've been playing for as long as he has and had the success that he has, you can demand that. But there's so much that goes into this decision. Like part of me thinks, like, does he just want another experience while he's in the NFL? Does he just want to experience a different locker room, experience a different city, experience a different fan base? But then we know he's not built like that. He's a champion. He wants to go somewhere and win. So it's not just about having experiences. But if he stays in New England, he's never going to get the opportunity to prove he can win without New England.
Yes. But that no one ever looks at the possible other side, right? There's the possibility he doesn't win outside of New England,
sure,
and it does go exceptionally poorly. And, can you accept that in terms of failure? That's going to be fascinating to see. Let's get to Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Raiders are being mentioned in the Tom Brady free agency sweepstakes, and now they might be looking for a backup for the quarterback they already have. Marcus Mariota is a free agent after losing his starting job to Ryan Tannehill last season. Obviously, we don't know what's happening with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, because everyone's waiting on what Brady is going to do, but he could get another chance in Las Vegas, Mariota. The Raiders are reportedly interested in adding him as a backup role, the possibility of doing more in the case of an injury or ineffectiveness from Derek Carr. GM Mike Mayock and Mariota ranked as a top quarterback in the 2015 draft. They ranked Mariota as a top quarterback in the 2015 draft. So I don't think Mariota is a better option for the Raiders than Derek Carr. Again, the Raiders, Tennessee, kind of everyone is waiting on what Brady is going to do. These are the teams that have been mentioned as possible landing spots for Brady, so we're assuming they're waiting to see what he's going to do before they make a decision on their current quarterback situation. But I don't understand what the Raiders are doing with Derek Carr, because the Raiders are in a unique situation that Tennessee isn't necessarily in. Well, obviously, Tennessee was a playoff team and did well in the playoffs, so they're definitely not in the same situation. But the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas, right? The Raiders are a very, very, very big international brand for the NFL. They're moving to Las Vegas. I don't know what the selling point is for the Raiders in Las Vegas other than just moving. Like, there's no star.
Doesn't matter. Every seat's sold out.
Right. But, like, what do you do for the rest of the NFL? Like, are they going to be competitive in the actual city? Sure, but like, it's a big transition move for Las Vegas. I don't understand why you're not either buying into Derek Carr or completely saying you're moving off of him, is what I'm saying. Like, they're so up and down with Derek Carr. What is the move that you're going to make at that position? Because what you don't want to do is move to Las Vegas. Sure, every seat is sold out. That's great. There's excitement for the city, and it's going to be great and supportive, and sure. But if you don't actually do any winning, what happens next?
They draft a quarterback. Right?
There's going to be some teams that need quarterbacks. There's not that many quarterbacks in the draft next year at that level, right? We know there's two: Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
There's talks the Panthers might be tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
They also have multiple first-round picks, so there's a lot of options. Like, look, this is what Gruden does. He collects quarterbacks. He did in Tampa, right? And there's no reason he won't do it in Las Vegas. I look, the Raiders in Vegas are a home run.
As far as the seats being sold out and being successful, sure. But for long-term success, obviously, Gruden's going to be there. He has a 10-year contract. We know all that. I guess my bigger question is they keep underselling Derek Carr's value, right? Like, now there's talk they might bring Mariota in, and then he could take over if Derek Carr is not effective. They're just not selling Derek Carr in any way.
Are you sold on Derek Carr?
No, but I don't. If you have more than one quarterback, you have no quarterback.
No, but Mariota he's
I don't think Mariota is better than Derek Carr now.
I don't think he is either. But they probably think, like, look, as a backup, if we can fix Mariota, and some of it also comes with how much is he going to cost you. If Marcus Mariota only costs you a couple $1 million, and you can try and fix him, and then if you don't like Derek Carr, you get rid of Derek Carr. Doesn't cost you much against the cap, or you get rid of him at the end of next year. Then you draft a guy. Marcus Mariota is the perfect locker room guy. Like, he'll be in the NFL as long as he wants to, because He's super bright. He's talented enough to play. He
And
has
he's not
played in the
controversial.
playoffs. And he's not controversial. And if you want to be a backup in the league, you got to be completely about the starter. And Mariota's the type of dude that will be completely about the starter. It's a hard transition to make, and I think of the guys who are top picks that can do it, he can do it.
So Jalen Hurts hasn't been mentioned much with the top quarterback prospects heading into the draft, but he still has complete confidence in what he can bring to an NFL team.
Well, I'm a dog. I'm a relentless competitor. I'm a leader, holding myself accountable to do my job for the sake of the guys and the team. No other guy in this class has the ability that I have in terms of getting freaky or making all the throws.
I actually like hearing this from Jalen because Jalen has not been mentioned at all in with the top quarterbacks in the draft, and probably he shouldn't be. But then there was a conversation if he should try out for other positions, like at the combine. Should he work out with the receivers, similar to the stuff that we were talking about with Lamar Jackson? Obviously, I don't think that Jalen Hurts is Lamar Jackson, but Jalen Hurts is a success.